It's finally here, but 2 weeks too late. I'm just gonna see if the music. Sorry, I'm back. The music is too loud. I'm just gonna turn it down or something. Yeah, I'm gonna just do this one, Spider-Man 3, which I've been dreading for quite a while to do because either you hate it or you love it or you're something in between. And then after this, I'm gonna do, I don't know if we can combine them, like Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I'll combine them in one video. Maybe I will, because it's easier for me to do, because well, it's already out. The Spider-Man Homecoming, and I still have to see it, because I'm so busy doing stuff, can work on the other channel, that basically, yeah, I'm busy. But anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna turn this down a bit, tad. Sorry about that. Spider-Man 3, yeah, okay. Whatever you can say about this movie, like say, oh, this is the awful movie, but you can't deny the fact that the Sam Raimi trilogy is one of the most successful ones still out there. By far. But okay, I'm just gonna rant this movie. I'm just gonna give a quick synopsis, actors and everything, and then give my own opinion, because otherwise I'll be ranting all over the fucking place. Well, as you can guess, like, it's Spider-Man 3. He's starting his new life, he's successful now after part 2, which was kind of weird because, yeah, we saw MJ in the end, like her smile was like less like pronounced in the end. So people were saying, okay, how is this gonna top the perfect, well, next movie? So I'm just gonna have a drink because my throat is just dry as hell. It's warm outside. Oh well, light came from outside, so. Anyway, this new movie just delves into. They wanted to do darker stuff, but they're unfortunately doing quite the opposite. By saying, oh, we're going to go darker, we're going to go more character based. They kind of did completely opposite of what they intend to do. The setup is just easy, we see this guy running away and everything, we get to see Peter Parker being happy, and it's like successful, the city loves him, which is kind of weird because the city already loved him before, it's just the Daily Bugle makes him look like really bad. It's not the city's fault that he's in the newspaper, he delivers his pictures, J. Jonah Jameson makes him look out like the maniac he is, but, so I didn't get that part because in the previous 2 movies, he is like, even that weird lady with Spider-Man, with the violin, that, oh, I stomped onto my camera setup, professional, even sang that weird song, completely off key, but yeah, considering the last movie, he came back and people were happy about it, so I don't see why people are saying like, oh, now he's successful, now he's liked. Well, he always has been liked, he always has been liked, so for me this movie stating like, oh, now he's liked, now he's this. No, well, he always has been liked. So, yeah, not gonna matter too much about that. And we see like a reveal, like the Sandman, that is brilliantly played by C. Thomas Howell. I don't know if I pronounced his name right because completely missed his name. Yeah, the pronunciation of my names up there. I'm just having this on the board right now. Can be off, but sorry about that. I'm just gonna call him Sandman. Easier for me to say. One of the best part of this movie, but anyway, but he's revealed to be, oh, he's the original shooter of Uncle Ben, he's already the first original shooter, which, I know, it's kind of out of nowhere, but, you want to go dark, fine, I can tell why this movie wants to do that, but, I'm not even kidding, like, out of nowhere, we got a few scenes of, well, of course, the Harry Osborn, seeing Peter Parker at the play for Mary Jane, oh, I'm menacing, I'm looking at you, Peter Parker, I'm looking at you, you pretty boy. Sorry. No, that's just my own personal feeling. But yeah, this kind of felt out of nowhere, out of focus, but, it's a comic movie, so, but then it comes like outside, we need to talk, but it's like, okay, with all due respect, you got this reveal from the last movie, like, oh, it's my best friend, who's Spider-Man, he thinks he killed his dad. I think some time has passed between Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, which kind of is weird because in that time, Peter Parker never went to like the Osborns and like try to talk to him, you know, leave a note, you know, talk to the butler, talk to people who liked him, you know, helped him out. I don't know, something to say, you know, here, sorry about that, we need to talk about this, because at first glances everything looks kind of weird, you know, everything kind of looks wonky. But that's just continuing, like, small issues with this. But then, all of a sudden, we get this action scene between him and, I think, the new Green Goblin, the Hobgoblin. They tried to do the Hobgoblin, but completely failed. Because now the Green Goblin is on, like, a hover bike, which, yay, but the future reference. But the action scene is good, because he's on a scooter and bam, he just, like, scoops Peter Parker up. Which kind of begs the difference. Does nobody see him without the mask? Because he swings around. Not even kidding. I'm just gonna put the makeup back on because it's too quiet in the background. He swings around, has a fight scene in like between the skyscrapers and the building. Nobody sees this. Nobody sees him without the mask. You know, performing the stunts, the shooting the spider balls. Okay, yeah, that sounded bad. But the thingies towards him. Nobody sees that. Nobody sees him hanging from a building, trying to hang on. What the hell? I know it's nighttime and everything, but people will still see it. But okay, that's again another issue. But this action scene feels forced in the movie. It doesn't belong here, and that's the main issue with this whole movie. Stuff that just crammed in there, which doesn't belong in the movie. Not in this script. It feels like that's a part of the script that Sam Raimi wrote is the Sandman. And the other shit, the other pieces that is next to it, just jammed in there like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do that. And that's why this movie is kind of like too much. Like, Sam Raimi is known to be saying like, okay, we need to have one villain per movie for me to have focus on the story, for me to have focus on the script and on directing and everything. But yeah, again, the new Goblin, or I'm just gonna call him New Goblin because Hobgoblin he's not. He's not the Neo Goblin. I'm gonna make a couple of comic book references because there's a few goblins. I mean, a lot of them. Yeah, he's neither of them. He's just a new, like, a skater guy, you know, the extreme 90s kid on a skateboard, which fights against Peter Parker. It's pretty cool. Like, he does new technology. He just like steps on something on his hoverboard, and those balls come up. The explosion. Balls come up, and that's kind of cool. But the fight ends in such a weird, awkward way. Like, oh, Spider-Man jumps into an alleyway, which is, I have to say, if you do that with a hoverboard, it's impossible to get through. I'm sorry. Considering we saw Peter Parker fly through it, how narrow it is, the hoverboard is wider than that because he's still standing on it, so he would be crashing in there. So, okay, it's just a side, but the whole fight sequence in the alley, it takes place in the alley again, like the second part, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, he fires those things. Oh, I hate this thing. It's pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. If it was a different movie or something, if it was just a different movie, like part 4 or something, it could have done well. It could have been done well, but this thing just comes out of nowhere, and to me, it's good for the pacing. Let's just say that. It's fast. It's got humor because, well, I had to laugh a few times because I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but it made me laugh, so it's not a bad decision to put that in a movie. But it ends in a weird way because this is a cool action scene. It's cool. You know, the hoverboard sequence and just fighting in the alleyway, just grabbing on one of them, slingshotting him right back at the Goblin, and it's pretty cool. But it ends in a way that, like, if you know this prank where people put tape upon the door opening and just run like underneath them and the other guy just slams his head into them, you know, like, oh, it's funny. That's basically how it ends. Like, he just literally has a spider sling or whatever, web or fiber or something across the alleyway and literally hits him, knocks how it also went around like a pinball machine. I'm not even kidding. I think it even makes the sound of a pinball machine. I'm not even kidding. If you play it back, it like a ding 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 ding, and literally it makes like a cartoon noise when he just drops down in the other way. And then Peter Parker, of course, is concerned about his friend. You know, he knows he's turned evil, but you know, he's trying to help him. But I mean, like, it's the mood it sets. It's a mood that it's trying to make, and kind of fails out because you got this whole funny ending sequence, which could be good, like an over-the-top comic book thing, but then it goes serious, like, oh my god, Harry, no! And then you see this hospital scene, like trying to revive him and everything, and ooh, revive him, he's my best friend, and still, after that, it turns into a weird fucking soap opera. It turns into soap opera because, guess what? Harry Osborn lost his memory. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's basically Bold and the Beautiful as the world turns. Like, the character lies in the hospital, wakes up from a long sleep and forgets everything, you know? That's what soap operas do, and I kind of felt out of nowhere. It didn't feel like a Sam Raimi movie. It felt like the studios were just messing with this script, messing with this movie, making him do this, making Sam Raimi put this in the movie, and that kind of pisses me off. That pisses me off because there's elements in the movie, and which we're going to talk about a bit later, that are good, that are fucking amazing, but they got this other stuff just jammed in there, and it just downplays the other part, the good part. It's just like the balance is off. It's like good part is lower because all the other stuff is just so much stuff, which is 50% bad and 50% okay, just pushes the other good stuff and really good stuff down, and that's what this whole movie is fault for. And again, after that sequence, we get Spider-Man on the web, Mary Jane in the park and everything, and that sounded a bit awkward. And I don't even kidding about this. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. I wish I was making this up. But the plot of the Venom, you know, literally Venom, the symbiote creature, falls out of the sky. I'm not even kidding. There's basically a writer's term, and you say, okay, I have no idea how to solve this, so we just have the plot falling out of the sky. This takes it to the next level. You see literally meteors, like falling stars, and you see one hitting right in Central Park. Like, I think it's Central Park, maybe it's another park, I don't know. It literally falls into the movie. I'm not even joking. It falls into the movie, and that's why this movie is getting wrong. And I'm just gonna riff a bit more about the last movie because Spider-Man 2 was such an amazing job. You had this part in the last movie. You had this like astronaut that Mary Jane was gonna marry. You know, he was going to space. He's part of NASA. You could have done the Venom, even if this movie is crammed full and everything, like it was in the comics. My God, man, you could have done it like in the comics. You've got this whole thing seriously like wrapped around with a bow tie on top of it, like wrapped around like a present, and it's handed to Spider-Man 3, and what they do is just shove it aside and just let it just fall into the movie. In the comics, it's just the same guy who's supposed to marry MJ comes back from space and everything, brings a sample along like a sort of rock, and that's what Venom is in for. Literally crash lands into New York on the bridge. You could have done it underwater, you know, it doesn't even matter actually. But you could have just made the part 2 link up with part 3 easily. And it didn't, and that's what this movie is just lacking. Cleverness, clever writing. You know, you could have done so much more with this. You had this whole setup with this guy, NASA guy who comes from outer space back and everything, crash lands into maybe the Hudson River. I don't give a damn, you know. You could have done it much better. You could have done much better and have Peter Parker of Spider-Man save him. And then come in contact with the Venom thing. Easily run. I just wrote it right now. And if I can write it, I'm not even a script writer. I'm just a guy who loves movies. If I could do this, good people in Hollywood who get millions of bucks can do it too. I'm not ranting about that. I'm sorry. I don't want to just do too much about this because I don't want to rant too much about the same fucking thing. Yeah, Venom just drops in the movie randomly. And then Peter Parker finds out like, oh, this is the guy who actually killed my dad. Not the guy from part 1, which, I don't know, obviously had a gun. But again, we shoehorned this like, oh no, this is the real guy, this is the real killer. What the fuck? Like, really, what the fuck? But I'm not just gonna rant about it because this is gonna be like a 20-minute video. I don't want it to be a 20-minute video. This is just too much. Like a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna say the pros and cons now because it's gonna be a ranting video anyway. So I love the Sandman bit. The Sandman bit where he's changed into the Sandman, drops in there, which is kind of stupid because again, a stupid fucking plot opening. It's like, oh, he just drops into the sand pit, and like the scientists just say, oh, it probably is a bird, it'll fly away when we start the machine. It's like, dude, somebody could have just fallen in. It's surrounded by a cheap fence you can get at the DIY store. That's basically my fucking problem with this movie. It's bad, lazy writing. Like this guy Marco jumps over Marco. Well, I just found a name. Jumps over the fence, and you get this like. This is extremely dangerous because if a human being gets in it, yeah, you see it. He turns into Sandman because you make a silicone mask out of everything that's inside the pit, and you get the science behind it. But holy crap, that's just lazy writing. That's just basically lazy writing. But you got this great sequence where he just turns into Sandman, and there's no dialogue, nothing like talked about, nothing, just music. You see him rising out of the sand. All those little pebbles is sand, like every sand of the Sandman, which that's why I love the Sandman bit. This is the strongest bit. You can tell Sam Raimi loved this character. You know, his passion lies in that part of the movie, not the other part. You can see every grain of sand in his body is a different grain of sand. Literally, there's nothing two of them that look like the same grain of sand. That's amazing. You see the whole close-up of rocks, and you think it's big rocks or something, but it turns out to be like the grains of sand, like small grains of sand, following him into the Sandman, and you got this beautiful sequence where he reaches out towards the lock, like the little thing he got from his daughter, and he just didn't grab, and like he's trying so that, and the music just makes it look so beautiful. And music makes it so much beautiful. So I didn't get why movie? Why would you just, why would you do this? You know, why would you just go ahead and do this? Because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you make such a good sequence with the Sandman? Why do you focus on the Sandman instead of Venom and the other bit, like the Goblin part? This just frustrates me to hell. You could have become a really good movie. Okay, we got a good fight sequence. Another problem is like the pacing. The pacing is good in this movie. Pacing wise, it's moves along quite fast. It's one of the longest one of them all. Like it's 2 hours and almost 40 minutes, I think. I don't know which is better actually, I'm not sure, but it's long. But it moves so fast. It moves so fast before you know it, it's over. And that's basically also what's good in the movie. Sam Raimi tried his best, like the pacing issues, editing issues, like fixing them. You know, like trying to blend them in because the studio wanted this in the movie, the studio wanted that, and yeah, that's basically why this movie is such, for me, not a disappointment, but it could have done me such much in a better way. By the way, yeah, I was just gonna say some negative things because the soundtrack is good. Some of the stuff, you know, with the Venom suit, Peter Parker inside the Venom suit, the soundtrack really works nice to like give it an image, like, oh yeah, that's cool, or that's nice, or that's really an exciting thing to do. But other than that, yeah, you get this whole fight sequence inside, like, I don't know, sewer system, with basically the metro system runs right through it, and it looks like it's almost falling apart. Which got me worried. Is this for real? I hope it is not for real in New York, that this looks like, oh, this is accurate. No, I hope not for New Yorkers. But anyway, yeah, this looks like a comic fight scene, and it is good. It's good! Don't get me wrong, you can tell Sam Raimi loves this sequence, because it's good. You see the Sandman pushing against one of the metro train systems, and his whole face is just gone. The effects in this movie, also, good effect shots, really good, one of the better ones. You don't see it anymore. You don't see what is computer generated and what's real. You don't see the difference, because I couldn't tell. Personally, I couldn't tell. Okay, of course, when the face is completely off, but I mean like the digital Spider-Man or the digital person or the digital fire thing, it's such, well, effects that you couldn't even tell it was CG. So you can tell why the budget this was basically the highest budget of them all, even higher than the Mark Webb ones, because those had a lot less higher budget as usual, but this had a huge budget. Also, there was a New York sequence, and every scene that's shot in New York is actually shot in New York. The other movies didn't have that, like the shoot in the other parts of the city, other parts there, and we didn't have the real New York vibe, and this had. This is the first Spider-Man movie which was shot 100% in downtown New York, which was a good thing. You can tell it's really good, it has a good feeling, and it looks spectacular. But here comes the downside of it. They crammed indeed the Goblin in there, they crammed the whole revenge thing, you know, oh, I have revenge on my dad. The Venom suit attaching to Peter Parker, creating indeed the Venom character, well, not Venom, but the Dark Peter Parker, you know, the emo Peter Parker. Oh my god, the dance scene, no, I'm ranting about this again. What I didn't like about this is just the whole emo Parker thing. There was good things in there, but it was played out in such a weird and laughable way that I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you seriously kidding? Because this is not how you should do this big as a story as ever. Which kind of has a conclusion to it. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna round this up because I want to get the 20-minute mark, because the camera's gonna fall out automatically. I don't know why. Basically, this movie summed up is basically it could be a better movie. It could be such a better movie if you just focused on one villain. Focused on the Sandman, yeah, good, really good. The Venom character is just shoehorned in there. It's just rushed as hell. We saw more of his face, well, more of his the other one face, the Venom face. Like, oh, why would you pull back on this guy? Why Topher Grace? Why the hell Topher Grace? I'm sorry, why? He's not Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock is a muscled guy. He's muscled. He's like a bodybuilder. He's like such a big ego with his body and everything. No, I didn't. No, Topher Grace is this because he was part of the 70s show, you know? Oh, he's hip now. He's part of that show. Because I didn't feel like he was part of this movie. Again, the last action sequence. I'm gonna kill Peter Parker. You got this whole big action sequence at the end, which kind of worked. Has its cliche moments. Again, we have this whole bit that has good in it, and it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but there was no build up to the Venom character. It's like he's there and that's it. He's just there, and yeah, it's shoehorned in there, and in such a lazy way. It kind of made me want to say, like, why? You know, why studio? Why would Sony Studios do this? Because it's not Sam Raimi. You can tell Sam Raimi's focus is again on the Sandman, not the rest of the movie. But this fight sequence is just shoehorned in there, like adult jokes and stuff in there. The pacing is good, don't get me wrong, and then it's killed off. Like the Venom character is just killed off. I'm like, so we never get a Carnage, you know? Carnage is like Venom attached itself to like a psycho, like a sociopath. This like suicide killings and everything, oh no, just you could have done so much better with the Venom character, just making his own movie, and they're gonna do that because they already announced like Venom's getting his own movie, which kind of has me worried because it's the same guys who announced that Spider-Man 3 has Venom in there. So yeah, really not looking forward to that part. But just gonna round this movie review up. Yeah, it has got a positive thing about it. It's got 50%, well, I would say 70% good thing about it, but the 30% that's bad, like shoehorned in there. This is the reason why we didn't get a Spider-Man 4 from Sam Raimi. Because he was just, there was preparations to do Spider-Man 4, there was like, he had a plan to do the Vulture, which is basically Homecoming again. But the studio wanted to do the same thing with this. They wanted to cram in so many villains again in Spider-Man 4 that Sam Raimi just said, fuck it, I'm leaving, I'm not doing this, you know? He didn't even was pissed off about it, he just said, no, I'm not doing this, I'm sorry, you can find a different one. And then literally, like, I'm not even kidding, but 2 months after he just left, he left the studio and to say, no, I'm not doing Spider-Man 4. 2 months, they basically had already like an idea of the reboot. 2 months. Not even joking about it. 2 months. They were announcing like, oh, we're doing a Spider-Man reboot. 2 months after Spider-Man 3. It's like, are you fucking kidding me with this? Like, this franchise is just... I know you don't want the rights of Spider-Man go back to Marvel, you know, this is the biggest cash kid and everything, but fuck no. 2 months after Spider-Man 3, of Spider-Man 4 was like, saying like, oh no, I'm not doing Spider-Man 4. They basically went, yeah, okay, then we do a reboot, then we do a complete reboot. Instead of looking for a different director or something, no, we're gonna reboot the whole franchise. Okay, fine, we got the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Which one of them is really good and one of them is like, okay-ish. But yeah, I would say, man, this movie could have done so much better. Focus on the fans, and focus on one villain, and I hope in the future, I hope Spider-Man Homecoming is not doing the same thing, like cramming in 3 different villains into one movie. Because then we'll be pissed off. Then we'll be like, oh, Sony has not learned its lesson. Sony will never learn its lesson, because I hope for the next movie, if Homecoming is successful, like, they don't do the same fucking thing, like saying, oh, let's shoot on 5 different villains inside a Spider-Man movie. Because then I'll be pissed off. Then we'll say like, okay, Sony, you haven't learned a damn thing. You haven't learned a damn thing about movie making, you know, just money making, that's it. But anyway, I'm just not ranting about this movie. This movie could have been good, and for me it's like, I give it a high score because there's good parts in this. The Sandman bit is good, the pacing is good, the action is really well done. Writing could have done much better. Casting is just terrible, you know. The Sandman is good casting, but Venom, like Topher Grace, no. J. Jonah Jameson, one of the positive sides, this movie just brings him a notch to his character, like the whole death shaking thing. Funny as hell, laughing out loud moment, the ending with the camera, the kid giving him the camera, but the roll of film not in there cost more money, like good fucking humor, you know. That was like a laugh out loud moment for me. But the rest is like shown in there. They killed off again another fucking villain. A good villain. You know, you could have the next movie like focus on the Venom or something. No, let's kill him off again, another killed off villain. Why would you do that? Why? The Sandman less, because he just flies away and you see Sam flying away. That's a good bit. He lies. That was in the comics. Yeah, I would say give this movie a 7 out of 10. Considering Spider-Man 2, I would give it a 9 out of 10. 9.5 maybe. But this is just a 7. This is just like a step down, a big step down. For me, could have done so much better. And I see why Sam maybe didn't want to do Spider-Man 4. Because this is basically why. You know, this is basically why he didn't want to do it. But this movie could have done much better. Sorry. I had an entertainment time, you know. It was a good 2.5 hour movie. But I could have done so much better with the material it presented. Yeah, after this I'm gonna do The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I don't know if we're gonna do one vlog video because I want to wrap this Spider-Man retrospective up or separate. I still have to decide on that. I still have to see the movies again, like maybe tomorrow or something. And then I'll do the Homecoming review in the daytime, don't worry. And then I'll be seeing you into the next vlog, you know. Yeah, this is basically Spider-Man 3, ranting about it, but it could have done so much better. Sorry, I lost Sam Raimi, big fan of his work, but it could have done so much better. Anyway, I'm off to do stuff and everything. Do stuff, love that word. But I'll be seeing you into the next vlog, the Spider-Man vlog, and have a nice day, have a good day. Go outside if it's sunny outside because it's sunny as hell, it's summer, hot for this summer weather. So have a nice day and have an awesome time. So, bye.